Raina, she's worked for Gary Vee, been involved in some incredible stuff.
What's your journey?
Hello, so my name is Reina. I'm Korean who has been working as a remote worker for more than 3 years. Rafa and we met like years ago, and since then he has been my coach and more like my big brother, like telling me how I should do in many different cases for my career. Like even when I got my job and when I quit my job, he was always there to listen to me. Now I mainly worked as a digital marketer, and now I'm more like also working as a freelance meditation coach, like creating content for Gen Z who have been suffering with the mental health.
What's your journey? Where did you start? Did you always want to be a nomad? Did it just happen? Can you take us back to the start?
To be honest, just I wanted to get a working visa but couldn't. I thought there was something failed, but it's actually just my own new start. I always had a dream of living and working abroad in a global environment. So if I start my job from Korea, then I'll be so familiar with like bowing to someone older than me and just always say yes. Refraining my own opinion because they are always the one who's right. I was on LinkedIn, like getting a job, like trying to find a job for almost like 9 months, and in the end of it, I got a job to Japan, and just Jose asked me even after this interview, "Hey, are you going to? Would you just come to visit in 3 days?" And I just accepted. Why not?
Awesome. Yeah, we say in English, when one door closes, many others open. So it's kind of like a blessing in disguise.
It is.
And I really like the message you had there of just, in 3 days, you didn't really know much. Sometimes you have to take those risks. And yeah, you mentioned it could have been a scam, but at the end of the day, you go there, you live and learn as well. So sometimes those impulsive decisions, and Evolve Clemente in one of our previous episodes mentioned that, you just kind of just go for it. And the results are incredible because I know the rest of the journey since then. I think we're in Gangnam right now, thanks to Google who have hosted us in the startup. We're part of the startup community here. But what was the main difference in your life since you were working like by your own terms? You're not working for a Korean company. So how was your life different to the rest of the Koreans, kind of in the typical working culture and corporate life here?
Now I feel like I'm being like literally in between, somewhere between Korean and foreigner, because when I now talk with my Korean friends, we can't really relate to each other because the way we think now became so different. So since my very first job in Japan, even though it was Japan, the environment was very global with a foreign boss. So I was always allowed to speak my opinion. He always listened to my opinion, and I had just freedom to execute whatever project that I want to have right now. I was told that I'm very disciplined, considering that I work from home, but I always like literally wake up before work, do morning workout, and then I just to start my job. That kind of disciplined routine, it helped me to become a person who just do my things without, I don't need anyone to tell me what to do. I just do my things and my boss believe me. Discipline is one of the most important thing as a worker and also just in your career.
Guys, if you're getting any value from this, we would really appreciate if you could subscribe and hit the like button.
Amazing. And of course, you mentioned again that you worked in digital marketing, you worked with Gary Vee, but could you break down what exactly were you doing? What was what exactly was your role? So the viewers can have a better understanding.
My very first job was just literally about social media marketing for a foreign brand who wants to enter the Korean market. Then the second job, which is my previous, was about I was a senior social insights analyst. So I write the code to collect millions of mentions online about certain topics. Then I analyze them using an AI tool. Then I write a report, very extensive reports about what it's talking about and how it is affecting people. And this actually gave me so much understanding about Gen Zs in Korea.
For someone who maybe is listening to this and feeling quite inspired, how did you get into that? Like, how did you gain those skills? What kind of educational background did you have to enable you to do that kind of work?
I don't really have education background about it because I learned literally alone by myself. I graduated until my university in Korea. I always wanted to go to abroad since I was 5 years old. If you really have a will and if you really have a dream, then why not?
What are some of the amazing things about working remotely compared to, say, working the typical office job?
The first one is actually you can take care of someone you love. It could be your pet or your parents because sometimes we have a situation we need to be there because their health problem or whatever. I didn't have to put my family aside because of my job. I was always there for my family. That was what I really feel grateful for. And also second is that I don't have to work in one place. I can go to any cafe, any cities. Actually, I traveled all of the cities literally in Korea. I just booked the Airbnb and just go for it. That actually, as a worker who's working, in a creative side, it really gave me so much inspiration.
You can do more meaningful things, and I think that's a really important thing for me, even to set your own routine, whereby sometimes if you go to an office, you may not have time, say, for example, in the morning to do a workout routine. So maybe push to the end of the day when you're more tired, and that can affect things. I think working remotely has been good for things like that for me as well. And I think we spoke earlier about this. It sounds like it's mutual.
Yeah, and just another thing I would mention is that the fact that we know each other right now and that we're in Korea is because of that remote working and the ability to do that. So you may start in your home country, but then by building your network online, nowadays it's pretty common that, okay, I've been coaching someone in Korea. My network here now might even be bigger than my network in London just because of, working for the last 5 years in this area. So it can really open up so many opportunities, and you might at one point think you're in a small area, and then boom, as you said, oh, can you come to Japan in 3 days? What? And it's in a heartbeat. When I first got my UN internship offer, I was in Bali. I had no idea that I would be flying off to the headquarters in Bangkok. And it's that kind of adrenaline that's really exciting. And yeah, you could be so surprised with what comes next.
Don't settle down where you're right now because you don't know where you are really going to be, really, where your life will be, send you to in the next step. Like, for example, if I never, if I just, settle down in my first company, just, feeling happy to, have a good meal and working from home and taking care of my family who needs me, then I would just stay there forever. But I had a more urge that I want to develop myself, that where I used actually sometimes half of my income just to self-development, and I don't think it's crazy. Everyone, we are so willing to pay a high tuition fee for our university, but why don't you use them, say that literally 10% of the money to something to learn for yourself, and because of that, that's how I could get to know Rafa, and yes, and I can really say that money that I invested, I took it back in multiple times as income.
I love it because we were speaking about this, invest in yourself, and maybe you could add a bit more of that. But first, when we first started coaching, it was mainly geared on applications to jobs, right? That was the first kind of thing. And I mentioned in which episode, the public speaking episode, or was it the languages one? One of those, about really intense interview processes. And I put Reina online through really vigorous, intense questions where, I would say to her, look, this is going to be painful, but by the end of it, you were able to secure an amazing job. So yeah, it just shows sometimes no pain, no gain with that sort of approach. But yeah, could you just tell us more? You were speaking about investing in yourself. Why is that so important for you?
I majored in international business in Korean university, but what I'm actually working on right now it's similar, but it's more like a digital side, which is not taught from Korean schools. To learn more about that, I can't learn it from Korea. I had to search so much online platform like Udemy or Coursera, and also another tutoring platform as well. And those skills that I learned very valuable because not many people are willing to learn by themselves. Many people just are going to school and just they are learning and studying because they were taught to do that. But not many are willing to spend another time even after that to study something that you love and something that your heart desires. Most of the things that you are going to really use in your job is not really from the school. It's something from the side of the curriculum, like yeah. So actually I learned, I studied about like AI or all the digital things even before that digital became a trend. About like a SEO, like optimization, I learned it from like when I learned it from like 7 years ago. It was like even at the time people didn't know what that is about, and I just like it. Just there is no reason for it. Just I liked it, then I learned it. Then there will be always person who will see your value. To be honest, you need to find the right person to see your value, and you need to sometimes wait for a right time as well, because not everyone is going to tell you that you did a good job. Don't just always look for a confirmation from others, because it's your life.
For anybody out there who maybe is at, as we say, a loose end, looking for something new, looking for a new opportunity, what are some of the best skills that you've learned that you would recommend?
I would really want to say that there is no learning that is not going to be used.
Do you have any final messages for today's podcast?
In around 2020 and 2021, I used to write some blog posts just personally, and there was a few followers telling me to think about how it was so helpful to share about my journey. And what I want to say is that whatever story that you've got it, there will be always one person who's going to resonate with your story and who really needed to listen to it. So if you think like your story is a bit different or unique, then don't consider them it is just different and weird. No, this is your own asset. Show it, and you don't have to show it to the many people. Just you can keep it as personal, like how to say, like you can keep it in your blog. But I really want more, especially more Korean and more women to talk about their journey and their stories.
Nothing else to say. What a beautiful message. Tune in next time. Thanks for watching.